warm welcome to you all today to our Centenary celebrations of the Laura branch of the Ag Bureau of South Australia. Thank you all for your interest and patience. As most of you would know, we were organising a larger celebration for the 11th of February, the actual date that this branch was founded 100 years ago. However, with the recent events, we decided to go with just a wheat reaping demonstration this afternoon. The auto header is greased up, the crop is here and needs reaping, the Bureau is 100 and the Bureau members need an afternoon off from fencing. The Laura branch of the Ag Bureau is not a particularly old branch as far as Ag Bureaus of South Australia are concerned, with many of them being established in the 1890s. However, it is still an active branch with members from a wide area including Gladstone, Georgetown, Goulnare, Beetaloo, Apla, Warabra, Wongyara, Murraytown and of course Laura. We even have several members residing in and around Clare. We are mostly farmers involved in cropping and or livestock, but are also pleased to include agronomists, vignerons, a grains industry regional manager, a livestock agent, a banker and machinery agent. So we encompass a wide range of interests and skills. And there's a couple of family names of original members of the Laura branch that remain on the 2014 current membership list, they being Lionses, Cleggetts and Wallace. The year of 1914 will always be remembered for the outbreak of World War I. King George V was our monarch and Douglas Mawson had just returned from 2 years in the Antarctic. Australia's population was just under 5 million, and something of particular interest to those of us involved in agriculture, apparently the southern winter rainfall zone in Australia suffered its worst rainfall failure until 1982, leading to record low wheat yields. FC Grubb in Gladstone, the drink and cordial manufacturer, began business in 1914, and the Rabra Golf Club was established in 1914, just a couple little local ones. A special thank you to Anthony and Andrew Kiddo and Kym Klemm for continuing momentum and keep these celebrations happening, because it's been a busy few weeks. One of Andrew's ideas was that we should all grow a mow, but it wasn't one of his better ideas, I can tell you that. That's probably about it for me now, and I'll hand you back to Anthony.
Well done, Tim, thanks very much. And on to the main event now, and it's a big thanks to Kym Klemm for all his work he's put into the harvester. And I'd like to just invite Kym up to tell a few words before he cranks her up and wheels into it. Thanks, Kym.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. The machine was originally worse up at Apla, and approximately 10 years ago I was up there on a church seed and soil day, and I was out in the yard, and I said to Paul, are you getting this cleaned up? So I'm about to have a bit of a demonstration, and he said, no, we're getting it out to cut it up for scrap. So I thought, I didn't really want a header, but I ended up buying it off of Paul, and then I actually got it to the point where it operate, and then it sat in our shed for 10 years. So it hasn't been used now for 37 years, I think it is. Other than that, we'll fire it up and see if it actually works. Okay, let's see if she'll go. Turn on the petrol. Tap some petrol mode. Try choke.
The Ag Bureau became involved in this project when we were thinking of what subject we could use for our 100-year anniversary. I put in a suggestion we could get this old harvester going and have a demonstration for those who would like to see it running, and it would perhaps take us back quite a few years to what it would be like in the old days. Of our Bureau members, there was between 6 to 10 members came out to help with just the restoration part. The other members were involved in the presentation of the day. Over a period of 2 to 3 weeks, spent probably 3 to 4 days in getting it back to life. The machine was actually operational when I bought it, but it was on rubber tyres and it needed to be changed back to steel wheels, which I was able to source from another old harvester. All of the side of this machine had been chopped around and it was cut around fairly well and changed, so off of the machine I was able to get for parts. All the members helped me replace all the side, put the steel wheels under it, and on the back here we've got a single wheel for steering. The timber work, I had a friend of mine, he milled up the timber and all the timber's been replaced as well for the floor. For the actual cost to repair it was very little. There was virtually no money changed hands. The machine was made in Sunshine in Melbourne. It was invented around 1913 by H.V. Mackay, and the auto header came out in about 1923. This machine we believe to be around 1926, being the fact that Ford engines or Fordson engines stopped being available in 1926, and this one's got a Wisconsin engine on it. The Sunshine Company later amalgamated with Massey Harris and eventually became Massey Ferguson, and the machine that followed on after this machine was a 585. The front on the machine is 12 feet wide. It was designed by H.S. Taylor, or Hedley Taylor. He then sold his design to H.V. Mackay, and from then on Hedley Taylor worked in the factory, I believe, for another 52 years, helping with the design of the machines. To run the machine, it's got a small fuel tank which we have the petrol in, and that's to get the machine warmed up, or the engine warmed up, until it's hot enough to vaporise kerosene, which is the main fuel that they run on, as kerosene was the cheapest fuel in the old days. The tonnes that this machine can read, there was a record set, and it was 3,300 bushels, and it was wrapped off of 76 acres, which is 1,000 bags. To run this machine, we need a driver and a bagger. Driver's obviously between the engine and the machine. On the seat we've got the bagging platform and 2 baggers, and as you're filling one bag, the bagger, he takes it off and the other one off and stacks it on the platform until there's about 18 bags on the machine, and then you stop and have to unload them all into a pile on the ground, and then a bag sewer chap will come along and sew up the bags and have them ready to be loaded onto a truck.
You wouldn't have done too much of this.
No, I'm getting it ready for you.
We had Reggie Harris, Steve Hawkins there last night.
There we go. He's just in time. Yours is a long string.
Hey, you a good bag seller? No. You can put food? Geez, I want a bit tighter than that, you boys. I'd be going probably stacking full over. 70 miles the last time we bagged it. Frosty Valley.
Well, soft, Jeff.
I did once. No, lighting on the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's nice and clean. On the road, really good cleaning. No, it doesn't mean that.
My plans for the harvester in the future is to, well, obviously keep it shedded and in an operational condition, and if there's people interested in it, I'm quite prepared to give it a run. Machines like this are quite rare these days. I think everyone's gone through and collected the tractors and restored quite a few of those, but when it come to the actual machines, most of them were quite bulky and ended up in the scrap yard or outside because they were too big to put in the sheds, and ended up being lost. So this one being close to operational or is operational, for me it's something that I can keep, and it'll be around for a long time yet.